against Terran. I see you're in Pig's clan. Of course, my clan is full, so I'll accept that. But decided not to leave. Obviously, there's some history here, but you usually want to prioritize your macro over your chat. Oh, 3 times. You just give up on it? We're just gonna see when you start with fucking up. I mean, okay, going gas first, but are you gonna use Diamond Zerg? Yeah, that is something they should change. They should make it so the rank borders reflect the race you're currently playing and not your best race. I suck at this race. Okay, the first step is acceptance. Oh, that's the last step, actually. Whatever. We Reaper first. You're going for Effector. Okay. Let's explain this. Let's break this down. So your build order sucks dick. What you've done here is you haven't committed to a one base like pressure defense, and you can't expand. This is the situation. When you go for a second gas after building a factory before an expansion, what you've done is make it so you delay your expansion, you delay that additional mineral income and SCVs, and also that gas isn't going to help you tech up any faster. Like, what are you actually meaning to accomplish by getting the gas then? All you've done is set yourself behind. It doesn't give you any benefit, and you've set yourself behind. So either you commit to the 2 gas, and here's your build order. You got 14 gas, 16, well, Depot 13. Gas on 14. You're building SCVs before it each time. And then barracks on 16, gas on 16, and you're doing it at the same time. You're getting all this going. You have that gas, and that way you can put on the pressure. If you do this, you're just going to fuck yourself over. Because what do? Expand now? And also, what the fuck is that tech lab? No more tech labs. Tech labs do not go on barracks in TVT before the 5-minute mark. If you're going to build... Well, tech labs, no more tech labs on barracks. I don't even care if you're like, well, I'm going to get a quick siege tank. That's not a thing. You go Reaper, Cyclone if you're going to do anything early tech-wise. Reaper, Cyclone. What is the plan for that tech lab? You're just like, I want a tech lab to have a tech lab. And you're making a Marine off of it, too. So what has that tech lab done for you here? No more tech labs. A reactor? Or, okay. I see what you did. You went for... You went for the tech lab, and now you're going to do a little bit of ring around the add-ons. But you went for it way too early, because you still can't really use it. Look at your minerals, look at your gas, and look at how everything's fucked up. Okay, you have too much money, you have too much gas, all the timings were off, you're trying to expand, but it's not done yet. It's still not the end of the world, but nothing here is ideal. So... go to one of my TVTs, see what I do early on, and copy it. Or go to even better, go watch Beyond play TVT. Ignore every time he micros, because you'll never do that. And just stare at what buildings he's building and when he's building them. You can at least copy that. We all know, okay, all right. So here's a general rule. If you're going to go for the 1-1-1, you're going to go for the, Hero Marine and the Muslim are both good at commentary. Maybe a little bit higher level than Gold, but good at commentary and playing, and they're a bit easier to follow. And also their VODs aren't muted because they aren't playing K-pop or Taylor Swift like 80% of the time. Beyond. Okay, and then, all right. So, you just need a build order. This is almost the end of my coaching here. A solid build order in TVT is what you need. It's the most important map to have a solid build on. Most important matchup. If you don't have a confident build, you don't have a plan, I recommend the quick 2 gas into Reaper, Cyclone, Banshee, or Raven. I actually recommend the Raven because you have detection, and we both know you can't micro a Banshee and not fuck something else up, even if you're microing it well. Bullshit, you can micro a Banshee and actually do anything else. So it actually hurts you as much, if not more than them. Thank you, Melee Pin, for the sub. So get that solid build, knock it out, drag it around the corner and shoot it behind the woodshed, and make sure you've got that over and done with, and then you can actually move into playing the game. Yeah, we're gonna watch some more, but like, if you had a build in a timely manner, you're lucky he doesn't know how to use the lock-on ability on his Cyclones, too. Fun fact. How many SCVs did you lose? This is already super rough. Okay, alright. So you're staring at this you got 2 Banshees, and now you have to use them as the thing because you took damage. But you have an expansion. And honestly, just having an expo and defending it, make expand and then defense it, that's a huge part. That's a huge part of TVT. We're just speeding through because the build order is so much more important than anything that happens now. I want to see what unit composition you end up going for, because you saw he was double starport and it looks like he doesn't have an expo. And 2 Vikings. It looks like you've reacted okay. I don't know what those... I love that. Oh, and you found the hidden base. I don't even think you looked at it. I don't think you looked at it. But you found it. So. I don't know. Okay.
Your upgrade's done. That field's been mined out.
But what's the worker count? You've been supply blocked for like 3 years, but...
No handout.
There are command centers all over the place. I have no idea what the fuck's happening there. But now is the most important time. Here are the most important things. This goes for every race and every matchup. If you don't know when you should be getting upgrades, you're getting them too late. Here's a general rule. Be getting at least 1 upgrade by 6 minutes. No matter what. 1 upgrade. And be like, well, Winter, what if I'm under attack and I'm taking super heavy pressure? Or what if I want to do a quick 3-base? No. This is Gold League. 1 upgrade by 6 minutes. No matter what. Just remember that. Keep that there. Put it on a fucking sticky note on your screen. Take a clip of me saying, get 1 upgrade at 6 minutes and put it on repeat in the background. Or by 6 minutes. I don't care. But otherwise, you're never going to remember them. You actually got 1-1. So this is actually, I'm bullshitting. I just noticed you got 1-1. So, good job on that. My point still stands. Get an upgrade by 6 minutes, but good job on the 1-1. And it's it's a weapons or armor upgrade, not like stim or warp gate or shit like that.
Your dedication.
So in this
rewarded.
situation, you really thank you XX White Fox XX. What a name. You want pretty much like Marines, Medivacs, Vikings, and siege tanks. It looks like you're allergic to 3rd bases as well, unfortunately. And also getting 2-2. A lot of players, that's the next step. Get 2-2 started by 9 minutes. If you remember that, then that means you're actually... So many, especially Terran players, because it requires the armory. Zerg players aren't as bad. And also Protoss, because you usually have a Twilight Council or a Lair, and you just have it. But you actually have to actively build the armory as a Terran. So we've reached that stage of the game where nobody knows how to attack. He's going mass battlecruisers. This game has lost all educational value. Because if you had a build order that puts you in a confident position... Why do you think this is a good idea? I don't know why you think this is the way to go. It actually... well, it actually did fine. Now, the thing is, if you had a good build and you didn't take a ton of damage early... You could have done that 3 minutes ago before the first battlecruiser popped out. That was a bad idea, but it worked out because he has nothing. It did something because he had nothing. But if you had done that 3 minutes ago, then the game's already over. It's getting there. You both, by the way, you both have quite a trust fund with which to finally invest when you realize you're in a dead-end job and you don't want to wake up and just micro 20 shitty Marines against siege tanks every morning. Maybe you want to be the manager. You're Mr. Manager now. Maybe you want to be the one telling the Marines where to go, building more, reallocating those resources. And you don't want to be this fucking shitty foot soldier that doesn't know how, well, okay. Let's not think about the logistics of a Marine on the ground shooting a battlecruiser. But anyways, I'm just pointing out the priorities here. The TPM raises. That's one way to spend your money. Invest in real estate, okay? You know, what I think would have benefited even more is getting 2-2 upgrades, and then 3-3, and then just having a bunch of medevacs and Marines instead of 40 fucking turrets, but at this point we're off the rails. So we've gone with the... Also, the upgrades high-sec auto-tracking and building armor exist. Oh my god. Are we gonna slow siege this? Is this the plan? Did he just jump like two... You managed to lose this game, don't you? You're gonna lose. You're gonna lose. What micro? Okay, so you know the best way to use your air control is translate it into losing all of your Vikings. Okay, so now he has 3 bases. You have 5, 75 turrets. I just wanna take a moment, take a step back, and let's look at the situation. You're on 1111 upgrades. And it's your mech weapons do not affect Vikings. You need the ship weapons upgrade. You even have 3 armories. 1 out of 3, 0 out of 3, no gas. You're mining off of like 3 1/4 gas geysers on 5 bases, which is impressive because there are 10 gas geysers. I don't know how much is left in the main. Not that much. But now you might think, how do you lose in this position? He only has +1 armor on his cruise. Surprise! Somehow he evaded your turret ring. 4,700 minerals. You could at this point build 25 barracks and just produce Marines and still win. It's a numbers game now. You throw enough men into the meat grinder. What is... This is all entertainment value, by the way. There's no more educational value here. It's gone. There's no way you lose, right? You have every base on the map. And approximately 40,000 turrets. Now here's the thing. I wanna say something. As a Terran player, you can also build battle cruisers. Just pointing that out. No, why, okay, no. This is like the fucking Heart of the Swarm cinematic right here. But mass suicide instead. What did you expect to accomplish there?
GG. Sorry, man.
I'm not sure. This is just either this is a fail. This is not even so much a failure of a player. This is a failure of mind and spirit. You just GG'd out with 7 bases, with 62 SCVs, and with more supply, and 3 upgrades on the way. This is just... You didn't deserve to win if that's your attitude. Also fix the build order, but still. Next up is Wormtalon as a random player who's gold. I'm not sure what race here, but gold. And spawning as Protoss against Zerg. All right, let's see when you fuck it up. Okay, you're walling off the ramp. That's fine. Pro tip, if you put a pylon at the back, you put a gateway and then the cyber core next to it, you still have a tight wall with a zealot in the gap, or an adept or a stalker or whatever you fucking, like a thumbtack. But that way he can't just walk up and kill your pylon super easy and kill you on one base, which I feel like has definitely happened to you, but you still keep doing this because you know no other way. So I just educated you. Are we expanding? Are we not expanding?
Our probes are under assault.
Looks like that thumbtack didn't work out.
Are being attacked.
Okay, alright, so everything's terrible. So you have no idea what you want to do. This is very obvious. You've just made a forge, a stalker, a mothership core, like, as a reaction, and you walled off the high ground. A few points here. A few points, in order. 1, if you wall off the high ground and then immediately expand, why did you wall off the high ground and not the low ground? 2, if you're building a stalker here, and a stalker is customarily used to deny scouting, why are you building a forge and no tech? 3, what is the second gate gonna accomplish? And why is it up there? And I pretty much like all these things tie into the bigger points, but I wanted to list off at least 3 things. So, nothing here makes any sense. You expanded without a wall to defend. You have no tech. You're building a forge, but you can't even really build cannons in the right spot. So, watch my Protoss guide and figure out how to build a wall. I'm not an expert, but at least I build them in the right spot. So a stalker, by the way, a stalker early on, it can shoot up, but in every other sense, it's a more vulnerable, less effective, more expensive, shittier adept. So unless you're building a stalker specifically to kill an overlord or something like that, an adept is always the choice. We're going to get a 3rd gateway, so that way we can continue to build some of the shittiest units Protoss has with no upgrades. If only there was some way this situation could have been avoided. The thing is, we don't even get to do any coaching here. Why? Because you've already lost the game. It's just basic build. Whenever I get these from gold or below, 98% of the time I'm just gonna say WG. Watch the guides. At least have a direction. At least have a group. At least look at the damn table of contents and get an idea of where you're going. But you don't want to freestyle. Of course, the classic. We need more gas. because we're not mining gas. Also, +1 armor is the second best upgrade. You're lucky he did that and didn't outright kill you.
Upgrade successful.
You're lucky he's making banelings and roaches because everything else you would be super dead. If he had just let those be zerglings and ran in with all the lings, then this game is already over.
A mineral field has been depleted.
Is this actually like evening out? Okay, so now let's do a little bit of theory crafting here. What if you hadn't lost 9 probes? What if you had a wall? And what if you got tech instead of a useless upgrade? What if right now your Colossi, sure, fine. Colossi, maybe not the best choice at all times, but why not? Go for Colossus, it's fine. You would have 2 Colossi, extended thermal lance. You would have 10 more probes, putting you almost even. And then you could have gotten the upgrade and pushed out with better supply. And that all just comes down to building a wall and actually figuring out, if you want Colossi, go for Colossi. Don't let your memes be fucking dreams, but commit to it. Don't make a forge, +1 armor for your 2 badass zealots who died of banelings, and then decide, lasers. Be decisive. Make a decision.
Research complete.
I want to see how this ends, because you probably win.
A mineral upgrade complete.
Now,
Mineral cluster depleted.
what a roller coaster. Well, this had winning potential. Fun fact, Archons are really, really, really good, and so is having a Twilight Council lever. Oh, you have one. Archons are super good. Alright, real quick, just for you. This is how we do it. We're gonna spend 3 minutes and I'm gonna show you how the wall works. And I'm gonna show you where the building should be. I'm not gonna take the Nexus. I'll tell you when the Nexus should be taken. Also, I sent the probe down too early, but just for you, this is so it's personal. I do this in every single one of my PVZs,
Acquire more minerals.
but this is just for you.
Not enough minerals.
And I'll just chill. I chill with the probe. Maybe some pro players might put it on patrol so it looks like it's doing something, and then flip back and spam a bunch of APM to look pro. But same effect.
We must construct and we
Alright.
need more minerals.
And we get the gate, and I'm gonna show you why we're getting it like on that edge. And you gotta figure this out for every map, pretty much. That's the thing about playing random is you every time you play Protoss, you have a different building setup. Every time you play Terran, your add-ons flip over differently, all that type of shit. But welcome to playing random. You gotta actually learn. But I like to scout off of that, and I'm just gonna show you how the buildings lay out here. In order to have that nice little tight gap. Alright, you gotta keep it tight. You don't want anything getting in there that you don't want in there. And we got the gas. Now I would usually take the Nexus at 19 supply with 400 minerals. I'm not doing that because that would take too long. And then that, and then that, and then bam, bada bing, bada boom. You got a nice little tight gap there. You can put a probe in it. Behind that, you can make a pylon to wall off if you need to wall off against Zerglings. You can put an adept in there. Slam, jam, thank you, ma'am, and that's how to do it. Alright. Next up is Which one are you? Are you Tequila Man or Them Lined? Let's just appreciate. Is this a custom game or is this just on ladder? Because we have Tequila Man and Dem Limes. This can't be a coincidence. Is this a coincidence? I don't... You tell me right now. It's a coincidence. And you, my beautiful, beautiful Tequila Man. Wait, are you gold? Plat? Anyways. And Zerg ran also what that took you too much tequila? Because it took you 8 seconds to move an overlord in the holy shit. How much tequila was before this? And were there lives involved? Because it took you 8 seconds to build it. You're building another. Okay. This usually I speed through, but 1, you build a drone first. 2, you move your overlord. This should happen within 1 second. And then on 13 supply, you build your second overlord. So, yeah, that's literally the starting. This is literally the beginning of the game. Literally. So do that. I appreciate how you don't even move the camera. Oh, there we go. We're against Terran on Acolytes, so that can get real dicey. Okay, I'm gonna speed a little. We might miss something here, though. Okay, what's your plan? You got 200 minerals. A little bit late. Okay, here's a pro tip. Send a drone to your expansion just below 200 minerals, and on your average map, you'll get there with exactly 300 on the dot. And you can look super pro laying it down. Your minerals go down to 0. I mean, it wasn't too far out. It was fine. But, and also good expansion choice. Going towards the front. Gas. Cool. Okay. All right. Okay. Third overlord. All right. Now we're going. I'm not sure where that OV's going. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. First 5 overlords. I'll just tell you right now, I don't have a 100% set positions. You can use this in pretty much... In ZVZ, you can just put the overlords right in front of them because they can't shoot them with anything off of Crete. But, all right, first overlord, it goes here. Second overlord goes over here-ish. You can maybe over here if you want to send in the main. Third overlord, you can put it up here. That's actually a little high ground area. Fourth overlord, I usually like to put over on this side to look for drops. Fifth overlord goes over to the other side, and then from there you just spread them out. What you don't do is just have it hanging out in the corner of your base, because that does fucking nothing. And, alright, it might be like, well, it's Gold League, we don't need to... No, that's actually pretty important. This is up there with things as a Gold Leaguer you should be doing. Okay, it's up there. It's not like there's a lot going on right now. You should be able to handle that, and you can do it every fucking game. Kind of like blowing off his Protoss. Okay. These overlords are hurting me with their uselessness. Nice scout there, but... Overlords keep you alive. That's what Zerg has. Zerg doesn't have scans. They don't have observers. They don't have hallucinations. They don't have adept shades. You can't just run a fucking... You can't wish a Zergling by a wall. Okay? That's why overlords are so important. You might be like, well, how do I know what they're doing? Overlords. That's how you know what they're doing. That is your scouting tool. And not using it is not using all the tools. And you only have like 2 tools in your set. +1 attack. I like a man who knows what he wants, and this man wants to go for a Roach speed timing, which is fine. Are those fucking turrets? Now, I want to point out, this is probably the shittiest map to go for a Roach speed timing, because he has a single wall that you have to run up in order to even do any real damage to him in any sort of quick manner. So I like how decisive you are with your build. You know what you want. I might not agree with what you want, but I'm glad you know what you want. All right, does that make sense? I guess we're just going to take a third. So we're going to... What? I like the outside third more, but it doesn't really matter. All right, so we're building... I'm not sure what you want, actually. Now, you're making me a little bit more concerned because you're making all these roaches. But why, though? Why do you have all these roaches? You're also making drones and another base. Are you going to attack? Do you think he's going to attack you and you don't have enough? You have plenty to defend, especially a guy who's lining his entire base with turrets. You're fine there. If you see multiple turrets shooting at your overlord before the 5-minute mark, you don't have to freak out. Okay, you could chill. But the worst thing to do with Zerg is treat it like the other races. You're not making workers and making units at the same time. You either make workers or you make units. If you don't, making all these roaches early on has already hurt you for the rest of the game because those drones will need to be made eventually, but you've slowed down their building, which slows down your income, which slows down your potential. It slows down your upgrades, your bases, just how many units you can get later on when you actually need them. You don't need these units unless you're going to attack. If you're not going to attack, well, then you should have made more drones. So that's the problem here. Good creep, though. You seem like a nice creeper. So what are we doing now? We're making a bunch of roaches. And now, once again, this is fine. This isn't bad. This is like the best of the problems you have. It's a problem, what you're doing with these roaches. You're making roaches just for the sake of making roaches with no real purpose. It looks like you're going to attack now. But attacking is not a good idea. It might work, but it's still not a good idea. I like the teching up idea. But it is a problem how you're doing it. But you're still doing it okay. Kind of like the overlords. Alright, you're making overlords on time, but then you're having them fucking chill out in your base, taking a smoke break for the entirety of the game. Except they went out for a pack of cigarettes and never came back to scout anything. Alright, so let's poke that ramp. Let's see if we can actually do anything, and if not... Oh my god, does he have more medevacs than Marines? Yeah. This is actually ideal. But, okay. Okay, stop. Now you stop. Now you stop. You're actually getting a lot of shit done here that you should never get, by the way. Also, you missed. I don't know if you have this. Well, you ran up a ramp into siege tanks and lost everything. Who's surprised at that, right? But if you don't have this, if you haven't turned on this setting, this is just for everyone. Not just you... Tequila man, who obviously has had too many tequilas. Gameplay. Show flyer helper. That actually shows you the indicator of this is for liberators. This is for air units in general. But you see that little icon? That's what you shoot at. You don't shoot at the medevac because you'll miss. You shoot at where the medevac is located on the ground. I know you weren't shooting at the medevacs, but that's just for things like liberators. You shoot at the indicator on the ground, so that way you hit. Fun fact. That's pretty fucking important. Thank you, Breath20. 15 months. Welcome back. Also, this is cinematic shit right here. This is like a wallpaper. That's some cool shit. My god. And that's the new war chest skin, too. Alright, let's let it die. So now what? Now your attack... I mean, it succeeded more than it ever should have. And that is not an attack you should be like, well, I need to commit to this, otherwise I am a total failure. But, it succeeded because he managed to take a worse fight than you, and there was only, like, one option. The only way he could take a worse fight... Like, the only way he loses that fight is if he fights, like, into your concave, coming down the ramp unsieged. But he did that, so that was very kind of him. So that worked out. We're going for a hive. If you're thinking Vipers right now, you're on the right track. If you're thinking I should get a hive because that exists, well, you gotta start somewhere. No, okay. Okay, what? One does not see siege tanks attacking you from a high ground and say, you know what, I think it's time to go. Well, you do, though. If you see multiple siege tanks attacking you, they should have stopped with the last one. You got lucky, he still keeps giving you his army. But whenever you see more than one siege tank, or even one siege tank on a high ground, you say, especially on a map like this, Vipers, Broodlords. Vipers, Broodlords, Vipers. Say it with me. Say it with me. Vipers and Broodlords exist. And they don't get enough love. And this is a lot of things to say. I don't know where I was going with that. Anyways, 3-3, Spire. I still see no Vipers. I do see the Broodlords. And the Broodlords on their own are fine. Okay. If at first you don't succeed, and then at second try you don't succeed. Alright, as long as you don't attack in before you have units that shoot... No, don't do it. Just because you're maxed out doesn't mean you need to attack. No! God damn it! God damn it! What? You're like, now this is the time to look away from my army. That's not how you free up supply. Okay? But you do, you poke in with some roaches, you lose like 5-6 roaches, then you make 5-6 corruptors, and then you make them into Broodlord. You don't say, well, I need to get rid of supplies, so I think 60 will fucking do. I don't... It's... Size does matter. Okay? Well... Now you've thrown away your entire ground army, which makes your Broodlords very vulnerable. You're making Zerglings, but I don't know why you think Zerglings are the choice. Zerglings don't cost gas. But you also don't have any upgrades at all for them. You have Zergling speed and you have +3 Carapace. You have no Adrenal. At this point, it's better to just... Well, the Zerglings didn't even really attack there. Where are the Broodlords? This is like a fucking 3-part symphony, and you forgot the 3rd part. Still sounds pretty good, but now you've successfully lost almost everything, and the Broodlords come in and still are going to manage to win the game, it looks like. But, barely. You almost got that one. Pretty sure the tanks are killing more Marines than they're killing anything else. So, once again, this could have happened 5 minutes ago. You could have had this army doing this 5 minutes ago against much less Terrans. But you decided that permanent brain damage from bashing your head against a wall was the idea. So, good luck with that. Alright, next up. Yeah, no. Wait, this. Wrong one. Alright, we have a Masters game. It's from Utah, darn. I'm sure there will be nothing to pick apart. These guys Don't tell anybody who's coming in. Don't tell them this was Masters, alright? Let's see how many fucking Twitch chat Grandmasters say there's no way this could even be Plat. Or ask if this is Bronze League Heroes. But I'll be right back one moment. And hopefully you guys are enjoying the sub-coaching hour, the Angry Coach hour. We hit 50 subs. We're going on 1575. We hit 1575, I'll do another one. Subbing is half off and all that bullshit you've seen on literally every goddamn Twitch stream for this entire month. So I'll be right back. One second.
Your dedication will be rewarded. All right, thank you, TFL Rorschach, for the sub as well. That's 1559. So now we have this game from some tryhards. Oh, even with the quick GLHF on point. From the All-In clan, which usually does live up to its name in my experience. Where are we going with this? Oh, okay. Alright. I see what you did there. I see what you did there. Don't fucking lie to me. The reason you rallied past the depot is because Beyond does it. Beyond does that. And it makes you look pro. Like you had a plan for that SCV all along. Okay. Yeah, trying to look all fancy. But let's see where you fuck up here. It might take a bit. I mean, this is a little higher level. This is Masters-ish. So we're going to be talking more and more about the idea and tactics and decision-making as opposed to, you have no idea what a build order is, what the fuck are you doing? Watch my guides type of shit. So, a bit more interesting in that sense. Okay. First, in most builds, I guess this is going to time out just fine because you didn't SCV scout. Yeah, it's going to time out fine. I'm wrong. Never mind. I was about to say, you get the factory before the depot, but this also works if you don't SCV scout. So that's fine. What are we missing here? How long has this factory been done? Oh, okay. We're fine. No big mistakes so far. Let's get the selection off. 400 minerals, but that's going to be spent on Hellions as well as the Orbital. There you go. There you go. And you're building SCVs. All right. But that's one of those situations. These are the little things. These are the little things that matter because you spent an extra 6 seconds microing that Reaper. You didn't start your Hellions for those 6-7 seconds.
which might not sound like a lot, but that's the difference between 4 Hellions being out when 20 Lings show up, and 2 sometimes. So, little things like that, you gotta prioritize. It's, once again, that's not a big deal, but that's an example of what can add up. Alright, you need your next depot. There it is. Are we going for a Viking first? What are we doing here? And Cloak?
I don't.
Not sure what that second tech lab is for. He's gonna see it. What are we doing? Okay, what is this? What is your plan with this build? You're gonna go for a Banshee behind. We got a lot of add-ons here. This is starting to feel like a build that you copied from Beyond, but have no idea why and how to make it work. Because you're now going for the most, like, precise set of units. If your opponent, who now has Overlord speed, by the way, sees this, he sees 2 engineering bays, he sees a Raven, he sees Hellions, he sees no barracks production, he can easily get creep like 2/3 of the way across the map, get 4 bases and 70 drones, if you manage to fuck anything up here, by the way. So, this is... I'm much more of a proponent, myself, of just doing a sort of 2-base pressure, no matter what it is, and then just working from that into a third. This, like, you have to be very confident in your mid-game if you're going to go for this. And Beyond is possibly the most confident person in his mid-game in the world, so that's why he goes for it. But that Raven now needs to be out on the map helping to deny creep. The Vikings doing a good job. But you said you felt like you couldn't get anything done this game. So, let's try to break down why. You haven't started stim yet, by the way. There's no stim. There it is. Okay, this is good execution of the build. But once again, if your opponent realizes this, you have nothing, and then he can suddenly just get this overwhelming amount of units. The reason it works for someone like Beyond is because he can split like a goddamn gymnastics god. I used a lot of the same words there. But if you can't, then going for something like this is going to leave you with a big army that is still going to get crushed because you had no map control in the early game. There's 2 on a gas geyser. Who gives a shit? It's not a big deal. The gas isn't really the limiting factor here. Okay, so right now, this is pretty impressively good execution of the build. Like, this is how this is supposed to go. And it's not bad. You're on point with that. The thing is, the build you've chosen, once again, relies not only on good macro, but you're allowing the Zerg to get creep spread and just not putting on any pressure. So you have to fight heads up against Ling Bane or Roach Ravager, potentially Infester. But that requires, like, a certain level of micro that the Zerg doesn't need to match. That's the thing. The Zerg does not need to match that level of micro just because of how the game has gone. That's the... Terran has the ability with very good micro, especially early on, to force Zerg into an awkward situation. But you haven't done that. He's now at 70 drones. He's going to have 5 hatcheries. But this is a good pressure to start. How does this go?
Someone's trying to kill your SCV.
You're at 63 SCVs. That's very solid. Okay, I would recommend before you walk up onto the creep, that still did fine. Like, you're actually in a great spot here. Until you step forward into Banelings, and also you've stopped producing at home. If you had scanned forward and seen those Banelings coming up and prepared a little bit better, and it was the second set of Banes, but also you're slipping on macro back at home. It might look like you're still producing, but the 1,000 minerals, you haven't started 2-2. Do you have an armory? Armory's done. Haven't started 2-2. And haven't done another production cycle during this attack because you got excited. You got excited. You're like, oh shit, It's working. It's happening. And then you walked into Banelings, and you weren't macroing at home. But if you were, you're at 130 supply. You're not at 110 to 90, you're at 130 to 90. And it doesn't matter if 2-2 is on the way or not, because that's a game-winning amount of supply. 108 to 90 is not. And now you're still microing 1,200 minerals. This is where you lose the game. If you lose this game, this is where you lose. And if you were Beyond, you would have already won the game. Fun fact. We all know that. And that's why Beyond... I see you copying him. And that's not a bad goal to have. But Beyond would have won this game, and he would have had 140 supply, and the Zerg would have GG'd because not a single Baneling would have done more than kill a Hellbat. But you're not Beyond, so you've slipped for 30 seconds now on your macro, and you're still against a Zerg player who has 70 drones and 4 bases, so guess what? Now you're in trouble. You're up 20 supply, but you're in... Well, 30 supply, but you're in trouble. Every Terran knows this feeling. You know this feeling. You just described it to me. Feels like I can't do anything. Thank you for the bits. So what happened? When you did that, when you committed to that attack, not only did you not macro at home, this 2-2 could have been 30 seconds earlier, but you gave up that army. You traded that army out for a potential game-winning blow. That means you can no longer deny the creep. You can no longer try to deny a 4th base. You no longer have an option to keep him tied at home with drops because you traded that army. You did well with the trade, but you gave it up. So you made a conscious decision, or unconscious maybe, to let this creep spread, to let this base get up, to let him keep his drone count in an attempt to just end the game. Thank you, Plop27, and IOI Canny as well for those subs. Welcome back. Give him some W's. And that, you've given up the mid-game now. You're still doing well, except for those 30 seconds, but those 30 seconds can be the game. But now, you've given up creep spread and map control. He's even going for a Spire. Your macro's still good, besides those 30 seconds. You could have been at 160 supply right now. Sure, he would have had a few more Lings and Banes, maybe a few more drones, but guess what? Who gives a shit? Okay, now it looks good. It looks good, right? You drop on the Banes? Well, guess what? You have 800 minerals now, and you were supply blocked at that time, and now you're not building any additional depots. You're going to get supply blocked again in 10 seconds. Watch this. You just dropped a supply down, anticipating your needs, but did that need to happen? No. Also, you got to be careful with these medevacs. You can't lose too many. Now, I want you to point out, you once again described, obviously you haven't looked at this replay, because if I told you going in, did you think at some point you were up 40 supply? You were up on 2-2 upgrades, and his Spire wasn't even done while that was happening? If I told you that, would you have said I was bullshitting? Well, guess what? Welcome to every Terran player's life. They don't know how ahead they are because they don't play Zerg enough to realize how much of a bitch a Zerg truly is.
Additional supply depots required. The app. Wow, you mind?
I like that scan. Like, I'm gonna scan. We're gonna shoot over these rocks. Don't ask me how that. We're gonna curve the bullets, like in that movie with what's her face? Was it Jessica Alba? And Anakin Skywalker, and Morgan Freeman. Wanted. Yeah, that one. We're just gonna twist the gun real quick, like it's a curveball. Gonna curve the bullets over the top. Anyways, so you're moving out with the 2-2 timing, and this should end the game. This is a good 2-2 timing. You've kept control of the creep. The only way to fuck this up is lose everything to Banes or attack before your 2-2 is completely done. Okay. It's gonna take some real effort to lose from here.
Upgrades done.
Because he just made mutas, which are like the shittiest unit you can build here.
I remember.
Okay, you split your back Marines, but you let your front Marines take the brunt of it. Priorities.
Upgrades done.
Now you have a 2-2 timing. This 2-2 timing could have been better. All right, it could have been even better than it is. He doesn't even have 2-2 done during this entire fight. Now you scan forward, see he has no banelings or limited banelings. Here's another thing. And now this is a little bit of RNG in StarCraft. I don't have the math on it. I think someone did the math. But you spawned in the southern positions. That means whenever you're attacking, you have to move the camera up, which actually is a physical and mental struggle. We've gone into the level that doesn't matter, but it's a physical and mental struggle to actually move up as opposed to moving down. It's less natural, right? So you have to, I don't consciously think about this, but you have to think more about scanning forward and actively looking forward, because you keep getting hit by banelings at the front because your camera's too far down. Your camera's too far down because you're struggling to move your camera up in time, and that means you're not actually paying attention to the 20 Marines in the fucking front of your army. Like that. But still, do you just win here? Because you should have just won.
Fresh out of minerals at that thing. Wow.
You didn't start 3-3 upgrades. If you just nailed your upgrade timings, it wouldn't matter how many bad decisions you made. Because you could have 3-3 started and like a quarter of the way done by the time this all clears up. We're getting too fancy here. Is what you're getting too fancy. Just continue down. You're maxed out. The only way to lose is lose bits and pieces, all your medevacs and bad fights. There's no way you lose from here, right? And your splits are pretty good when you're actually looking at the right spot as well. I thought you said you couldn't do anything in this game. This was good execution. There were a lot of mistakes, but he made more. But the focus, you gotta recognize what you're doing. Yeah, if he had gone Hydras instead of Mutas, this is why you don't go Mutas, especially mass Muta anymore, is because Mutas just die. Like, Mutas are dead supply fighting the army. And against a Terran who's on some sort of point, you're not actually going to be able to hit a timing before they attack you. Against Hydra Bane, you would have done a lot worse, obviously. And Hydra Bane requires tanks and all of that, and upgrades are so important. But because he went Mutas, you still did a build that you gave up map control, and then you traded your army and gave up all the rest of the map control you had. Which, against a Hydra Bane player, which I assume is what you usually lose to, or just even a Ling Bane player, means you would have gotten crushed out on the open field. But he went Mutas, which means he invested thousands of resources and units that were never going to be able to fight. And that gave you what you needed. I'm not a big fan of that build, just because of that, but if you like it, good for you. Your micro's not terrible, but you do what everybody else does, which is get tunnel vision. I don't mind sending that game in. That wasn't a terrible example, but at Masters, there's no like this is right or this is well. There is, but there was nothing in that game that could be like this was a bad decision. But there are decisions to make. Do you give up your army and accept that they're going to have more creep spread? Is it worth it to be able to get more damage done or kill drones or kill a base? Or do you hold your army back and continue to keep map control until you finish up your upgrades? Stuff like that. Those are the decisions you have to make. Because you're at the point where you can make units and you get upgrades and you hit timings and you actually micro and it matters because you're in Masters and you're pretending to be good. Did we have any more? Was that 5? Was that 5 for Angry Coach Hour? I hope you guys are enjoying Angry Coach Hour. It actually has been almost exactly an hour since I started, but unless it's not been 5. I'm not sure if that was. I don't need another. That was a perfect hour right there. In fact, the mix ended. The mix was an hour and 5 minutes, and I didn't start doing replays till about 3 or 4 minutes in. So that's a perfect. Cut it up, throw it on YouTube, make that dirty esports money. Actually, I probably swore too much. Some of my Bronze League Heroes videos can no longer be monetized because I use choice language, and it can detect that. So fuck me. I don't know. I mean, they can be monetized, but they're not suitable for all advertisers. I don't know what the fuck they're on about. But, anyways. I don't know what they're trying to say. But if we reach the next sub goal at 1,500, and you still have to do mine. T-Pain, did I not do yours? Well, we're going to cut that out. Unless this is super good, we're going to cut it at that hour. But it looks like you even went back a few days for this one. And now we have no music in the background. Did you notice that? Because that was actually... You can check out that newest mix with the mixes command. It just dropped today like most Terran players on one base. But yeah, you can download from there if you're into it.
Whatever happened to the happiness? Do what you want to get it back for us. You take your time, then let me know if you want to stay or if you want to go.
What are we looking at? Another TVZ, but this one is gold. His name is Zergatory. I don't think that barracks placement really works how you think it works. I mean, I guess that's fine. It's just weird. I fear change. Okay, there's no reason. This is fine. We're talking a Gold League level, but let's do some critical thinking. I know it sounds crazy, but if you're gonna SCV scout, why not wait a little bit and make a decision whether you're gonna build the CC on the low ground? But instead, you just decided we're gonna make it on the high ground. No problem. No, why? No, go up the. Oh, you did go up the ramp. You didn't scout the entire base if he has a pool or gas. You scouted everything but the most important thing to scout after the first hatchery. Okay, whatever. Also, this is not a wall. That's not a wall. All right, there are a lot of easy ways to build a wall on the top of your ramp, and this is most definitely not one of them. Are you trying to build a fucking tower defense maze or something? I don't... But now you have the low ground, so it doesn't matter. Well, that was lucky. Okay, alright. So, watch the guide. First off. But also, your build, this isn't a build. This is like a fucking modern art abstract painting. If you look really closely and you really delve into the meaning, you'll find that it was painted by a 3-year-old and doesn't mean shit. Because you have 1,000 minerals. You're getting double medevac for your unstimmed marines, of which you have 10 of them, which is not enough to fill 2 medevacs. You have 2 bases, you have 250 gas, but barely any way to spend it. What are you doing? Like, I don't... What is the plan? Is your plan a 2 medevac drop? I feel like you've seen a lot of my play or Beyond or whatever, Like, while 2 medevac drop for Terran is really good, we're forgetting like 3 or 4 key components here, which are stim, 2 racks, having any sort of follow-up, like... you got the bare bones. This isn't really the bare bones, though. Like, why are we getting this gas? Why do we need more gas? For more medevacs? What is it? Does everyone need an individual escort? Alright, we're not that high class. You can share. I don't know. Thank you, K or Draft. Welcome back. Alright, there are the barracks. Those barracks are about 3 minutes too late. 3 minutes. Okay, you need to spend your damn money. You're pretty good at building SCVs. I wonder at what point we'll realize that we don't have stim. Oh my god. Okay, also, you have a perfectly good main base to build your barracks in. I want to point that out. Like, your main base is feeling woefully empty right now. But you decided we're going to build 4 of the racks, potentially walling off the Marines in this random location behind your natural. So, just... So now we got... How many medevacs? Is that 8? We have 8 medevacs, which could hold 64 Marines. You have 20 Marines and 3 tanks. So you can fill about 4 medevacs. So I'm glad that everyone has the individual health care here, but this isn't the most efficient distribution. Okay, alright, I want to point out. Okay. Okay. So you see the links. The command center luckily scouts all of this. Okay, you lift it. You see the Lings and Banes. What's the play? Is it A, to siege up your tanks, move down with a few units, and bait them in the siege tank range? B, is it to just make sure they can't come up the ramp? Or is it C, go down the ramp before sieging your tanks, thereby walling your Marines into a prison of your own design of acidic, painful, and potentially war crime level death? What's it gonna be? Looks like we're going with C. Alright. And now here's the thing. Here's the thing. I say this a lot, because, you know what? I think you have watched my guides. I think you have. I think almost everybody who sends me replays and subscribes to me has, at least at some point. On my games or whatever. You've got an idea. You know what you want. It's so obvious. But there are so many details that are not there. It's like a band without a bass guitar. And also a drummer. And also speakers. It's just a guy yelling on the side of the road that everybody kind of ignores because he's either drunk or fucked up or both. But, I mean, you have an idea.
Ready for dust.
Add-ons good to go.
And you're actually winning. You're still winning, by the way. Fun fact. Alright. I want to point out the hotkeys as well. I have a hotkeys guide. Is your production all on too? I have an unclickable mode. You have no hotkey for your army. You're using select all army hotkey, which... it's okay.
Your dedication
Thank you,
will be
bum bada
rewarded.
bing.
Is
4
your mom
months.
available tonight, Lou?
No, I'm sorry. You might have gotten her confused with yours. Okay, we're just gonna make everything. Now here's the thing. Here's what a lot of Terran players feel like at the lower levels. No matter what happened, no matter what's happened in this game, I can never attack the Zerg because he's Zerg. Thank you, Mark GB. Zerg has all these scary units. Okay, now we're gonna attack. But Zerg has scary units that aren't good. But you see he has no banelings, so that's good. This is not a bad attack. You're up by 50 supply. Hopefully you're attacking. Corruptor should die eventually. Thankfully, he'll kill some of your medevacs. That's real kind of him.
Your dedication
Ray
will
Rude.
be rewarded.
Give him some W's. Okay, now we're pushing 2,300 minerals, 300 gas.
Your dedication
Rage!
will be rewarded.
2, 3, 8, 4
Who's
months.
your daddy and what does he do?
He's retired. So thankfully, not only can you build 20 more Marines, but by the time they do 2 or 3 deployments, come back and want to collect that sweet, sweet pension, you'll probably have the money left over for it. Congratulations. Okay, the answer to being supply blocked and having a ton of money, not so much making a bunch more barracks as, now I know this sounds crazy, making more depots. Oh my god. Oh, 4 Broodlords. Is this the end of everything? Yeah, let's make more barracks. Okay, it appears we were capped out. This game is actually auto-locked at 149 supply. We aren't allowed to make any... But why, though? There's no way you lose this game, right? There's no way you lose. You're maxed out. It's time to attack. And as Diva said, oh Jesus Christ! Okay, at this point, we can go back into Marauders and tanks. We can still have Marines. We can still have Vikings. Oh my god. The Wintralisks. But does he? And they still die. What? No! You're up 20 supply! What are you doing? He has no... The only units he has attacking you are 2 Broodlords! That's it! Yeah, you can kill 2 Broodlords with 6 Marines! What? Okay, another key point of getting out of gold is not leaving games that you can still very viably win. Ah! He has nothing in production, even if he built Ultras with all the money he has. You would still have time to build like 50 more supply of units. And the Broodlords, they actually have 3-3. Those are some fucking decked out Broodlords right there. They have 3-3 in the Brood League. Those are like the most upgraded Broodlords ever. But 2 Broodlords aren't gonna beat unlimited 3-3 Marines. Okay, key point. Do not leave games that you're winning. That is another surefire way to improve, is instead of losing games that you should win, is to win them. That is the takeaway from this one. Besides the have a build order at all, and how hard is it to wall off? You have 83 SCVs, so the army supply is even. You have 83. You have 3,331 minerals per minute. If you do the math, that's approximately 1 fuck ton of Marines every single minute. And even against ultras, if you make that many Marines, oh my god. $83 SCVs isn't too many if you're gonna leave the game while you're winning. There's no such thing as too many SCVs if that's the case. Alright. We're at 1564 subs. I want to sell out for it. That was angry subscriber coaching. I don't know, I'm doing this a lot. I'm doing this and all this and just general percussive violence. That sounds bad. But